In the middle of the summer, in the middle of the desert, 9 of the 17 generators at Hoover Dam are going to effectively be offline. That is because the water level at Hoover Dam, Lake Mead, is at a very critical level. But it actually gets worse in Lake Powell. Glen Canyon Dam creates the reservoir Lake Powell, and the Bureau of Reclamation quietly released a report this weekend that effectively tells us that this fall, the Glen Canyon Dam hydroelectric facility, the second largest in the American West, is going to be at such a critical phase for water that it will effectively not be putting out any power, not slowing down, not stopping, not a little bit less power, a complete power stoppage. The entire water forecast for Lake Powell is 3.87 million acre feet. That is 40% of the average. Right now, at the end of March, Lake Powell sits at 3,527 feet. By the end of September, the model predicts that it's going to get to 3,483 feet. That is below the 3,490 feet, which engineers call minimum power pool. And we're going to blow right past that. So what that means is it physically cannot spin the turbines at the dam, which means no power is going out. When I look at the Lake Powell tables on page 11 of the report, 7 straight months, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 7 months of no power generation. That's 1.3 gigawatts of demand-based load capacity vanishing from the grid. Right at the time, by the way, when there are massive data centers being planned all over the Southwest, which take not just power, but also water. Now, Las Vegas is actually one of the most water-smart cities in the country, but at the same time, September 2027, we're expected to drop to 1,033 feet at Lake Mead. That is going to be below the 1,050 feet that automatically trigger something called Tier 2 shortage cuts. So in September of 2027, the report predicts that only 29% of Hoover Dam's power generating units are going to be available. 9 of the 17 generators are effectively offline. This report is devastating, and there's probably a reason that it came out quietly on a Friday afternoon. We are seeing critical water shortage, and I have previously discussed how the snowpack from this year is already going to cause further problems with our water. That comes as we are having essential and important conversations right now about how we use our power and our water here in the desert. For 7 months, the power facility, the hydroelectric facility at Glen Canyon, could essentially be offline. And that is a conversation worth sparking.